3, 2, 1, go.
Join me on this point of view video around Riverside parkrun. Today we're going to have a look and see where my fitness levels currently are. The question is, can I still get quicker at age 46? Am I on track for a 5k PB this year or not? Also, I'll explain the Garmin issues I've been having lately and how they are hopefully getting resolved by Garmin. How my training's gone in the week after not starting at the Spine Challenger South race. First, a little bit of background on the parkrun we're at today. So today's run takes place at Riverside Park. It follows the banks of the River Wear and it's one of the most scenic parkrun routes in the northeast. It's also one of the fastest parkruns in the UK, as I saw on the running channel list previously. So it's a flat 3-lap course, mostly on tarmac and concrete paths. So it's really popular for first timers, tourists and anyone chasing a personal best. The route follows the river through woodland and open parkland. It's got views of the water almost the entire way. It's also overlooked by Lumley Castle. It's a peaceful, flat and deceptively fast course. Although there's always a couple of sharp turns, and because it's 3 laps you do have to overlap people, which you'll see on here can get a little bit congested. So it's like all park runs, it's made possible by the great team of volunteers that they've got and the strong local running community. So it's a really friendly, welcoming atmosphere on a Saturday morning. Because of not doing the Spine Challenger South, it's meant I can carry on with training as per normal rather than having a couple of weeks of rest after the race. So I'll show you what I've been doing this week on here and also what I was doing last week. So what you can see up on the screen, that's how I tend to track my training plan. So you can see last week I was planning on tapering for the whole week up until the race. But by the Thursday we decided I wasn't going to do it. So did an easy run for a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, then went and did the Windy Nook Park run last Saturday, where there's a video you can also see if you go to the channel. And then couldn't manage a full long run on the Sunday, so I think it's because I'd done 4 days of running back to back, so only did a 6-mile run on the Sunday. And then this week I tried to get back to normal, so the normal plan is 45 minutes on the Stairmaster in the gym, no run on a Monday, and then did an over-under session which I got from the running channel, so that's a 10-mile session, did that on Tuesday night. And then did easy runs for the next 3 days, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I had intended to do a bit of a harder session on the Thursday, but my legs were too stiff, so I couldn't do it. So easy Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then doing the park run today. Tomorrow the plan is to do a long run for about 2 hours, so 14, 16 miles, depending on how we get on. This at the minute tends to be the typical training plan I'm trying to do, so I'm trying to keep it very constant. Basically the same thing every week, trying to keep it nice and balanced, slightly increasing the mileage because I'm planning on doing the marathon in Rome on the 22nd of March this year. So a little bit more about the park run today. So I've got a positive history with this one. It's one of the first ones I started doing probably like 10 years ago. So I used to live in South Durham, so I used to often try and come here if I want to try and do a faster park run because it is relatively flat and fast. And you also, because you get so many runners here, there's always someone you can sort of tag on to try and get a good time. I've got fond memories. This was the first place I ever broke 20 minutes a few years ago. I did try many times, but it's funny, the day that I did it I knew I was going to do it because I'd done quite a lot of good training, so I knew when I turned up it was going to happen. Since then the PB at this course is 19 minutes and 7 seconds. This was in March in 2025 last year. Last time I came here was July last year and I got 19:19. So I think this year I can definitely get a new PB on this course, that's the plan. Not sure what's going to happen today. It always depends on what happens on the day, how you feel at the halfway mark. And this is also the only park run where I ever left. So like when you're doing a park run you get like halfway around, it usually gets to the hardest point, and especially on one of these where it's lapped, literally running past the car park 3 times. So if you're halfway around it's really difficult, it's not going how you really wanted it to. It's always crossed my mind, it's always a mental battle to think, right, no one knows I'm here, I could just walk away, not do it. And literally I did do this once. This is the only place I ever did that. I do wish I did stay and complete the park runs. It's a lesson to everyone. Definitely worth, don't walk off, keep on doing it. You'll regret it in the long term if you do walk away. Next thing I was going to talk about was I mentioned about Garmin, so I'll probably cover a lot of this in a separate video at some point. But the watch I'm using currently is a Garmin Enduro 3, which I got at the back end of last year, mainly for doing ultra marathons because of the battery life is superb. However, I'm pretty sure Garmin mucked it up when they did an update beginning of December. So since then the heart rate reading on it's been really high. I've complained to Garmin. They actually gave us some feedback. They were quite good. They said we can see the readings are there. They've got sort of like some confidence level on the heart rate readings that they take. And they said you can see it was reading high, then all of a sudden the only time when it had like 100% confidence in the heart rate dropped. But what it means is all the measures that they've taken on Strava and Garmin sort of basically say that my fitness level is dropping because the heart rate's going up. So even going for a walk the other week, heart rate was like 180 beats per minute apparently when I was just walking around for 2 miles, which obviously isn't realistic. So they did offer to replace it. So earlier this week I shipped off the watch to Garmin. So today I'm actually using my wife's Forerunner watch. So one of the more basic Garmin ones, but it does have a heart rate monitor on. I tried it the other day and it seems to be working perfectly. So if you see it on the video, it's quite a small Garmin that I'm using it, but yeah, it's working really well. It does go to show though that you can get issues with watches and it's worthwhile. Garmin are pretty good on customer service. So it's the second watch I've had replaced. Earlier last year they had to replace the Phoenix 7 because of similar issues. They won't admit that it's down to updates that they do, but I'm pretty sure it is. Because I can usually pick a point in time when it's stopped working. It usually relates to an update that they give. But it's worth emailing customer service to try and get some feedback from them, and often they'll offer a replacement. Anyway, back to the park run. You'll see a lot of this guy with the orange top basically followed him for a long way on this course. I think in front of him at the minute is the first lady, so I think I'd worked out at this point I was probably in about 12th or 13th place. Usually when I'm doing park runs, my typical finish position tends to be either just in front of the first lady or just behind. Tends to show the typical pace I'm getting. So on this one, just basically not going for a specific time, just trying to tuck in behind this guy, and then he's going at quite a comfortable pace for me here, so I'm quite enjoying it. Just following him around, and I think we do gradually start to catch up with the lady in front of him, and we overtake a couple of people on the way. You can see the heart rate here is pretty high. It actually felt okay going around the run, but it does look pretty high here, but yeah, quite comfortable pace at the minute. Not saying I can go much faster, but I wasn't considering walking off, if you know what I mean, like I mentioned earlier. So as I mentioned, the park run's 3 laps. I think we're on the second lap here. Just heading back down towards the river, where we're going to turn left down here, and you follow the path along past the river, then you do a U-turn, then come back along. We'll keep running this for a bit because it does get a bit more interesting coming around when we start to overtake people. So yeah, we're just on the second lap here. Once we start doing the overtaking, it does get a little bit tasty at the beginning of the next one. So you can see down here it's just basically straight run, no overtaking yet. Just going for a straight line, watching out for dog walkers and other people, because obviously it's still a public park, so there's quite a few people about. Keep checking behind, make sure there's no one following us, just more for when I'm moving about on the track rather than worrying about people overtaking. Just don't really want to bump into anybody. Coming down to this bit here, you do have a couple of tight corners and it's a little bit muddy, so you've got to be careful. So got to be careful on this corner here, changing surface. And then when you get along here, you go down a little bit of a hill and you've got a very tight bend. So the bank of the river down here often gets flooded depending on the weather. So you can see it looks like it's recently been flooded. So here we're just going past the back markers, but we're actually on a really tight corner. So there's a bit sandy and silty there on the path, so you really got to watch out where you're putting your feet down there. Just make sure you don't go too quickly. Also get swans and geese down here, so there's a few swans there on the left. You'll see a few more geese and swans as we get further round on the path. Again, nice little flat path here, nice and solid, but the only issue is, like I mentioned, you've got to watch out for any dirt and soil and mud and stuff. Still trying to keep up with the guy with the orange top. A good pace setter for us today to try and keep up with him. Slowly start to pick a few people off. When it gets a little bit busier, you'll see how it tends to develop a bit in terms of overtaking. So you can see now it does get a little bit tight down here. I think in the past, some point last year, someone actually did end up in the river at one point. So you do have to watch out, and it's worth giving a bit of a warning. People are told to sort of stay on the right hand side so you can overtake on the left. But you do tend to get quite a few people, obviously building up in groups. Can't be helped sometimes on park runs. Hold on. As we get down here, you'll see the swans on the left. This is the only pretty dodgy bit for your feet. So you can see it's really sandy where the riverbank comes up. So it was quite solid today. I think it's probably worse in the summer when it's quite dry. Then you've got this tight path here which winds up a little hill. Photographer there on the left. So as long as people stay on the right, it's usually okay down here. Obviously it tends to be single file. And then when you come round to this bend here, you've got a marshal on the corner that you'll see, but obviously you've got to stay tight to the barrier if you can. This bit gets a little bit messy, so this is the only bit where they tell people to stay to the left, because on the last lap you'll take a right turn, so they want the faster runners on the right here. So you can see here, starting to overtake more and more people. It was really busy today. When the results came through, there was 521 people there. So you imagine doing 3 laps on this course when you're near the front. There's lots of overtaking to do. You've got to watch out for there's quite a few bends and stuff, and like I say, it can get a little bit slippy. You'll certainly see around here where it gets really busy. We had some trouble trying to overtake people. So you can see as we're coming down here, you can see we've caught up to the First Lady, and there's also quite a few people on the course here. So sometimes it's easier just to follow someone round, let them try and find the gap. So that was the plan here, that's what I was thinking. If I can just stay behind these two, let them find the gap, and it makes it a little bit easier for me. So we'll see how it goes, but it does get really busy around here. So if you watch on this bit, considering the path's probably like about 2 or 3 people wide, there's literally nowhere to go, nowhere to get past. So I've never had to actually go on the grass here before, but literally we've all gone on one side, and we've managed to get on the left hand side here, and the guy in the orange top's now run on the grass. So at this point all 3 of us are back together again, but it is getting quite dodgy around there to get past. So it's just getting busier and busier. But at this point now, at least we know we're on the last lap now. We know where we've got to go, just up this incline, and then basically downhill from there. Again, going through here, squeezing through the gaps, single file. I think it all goes smoothly from memory. I think there's one little bit here where there might have been a young child up ahead running on the grass. I was a little bit worried he was just going to dive back onto the path right in front of us, but we managed to get past without any incident. Watch your feet through here because of different surfaces and leaves and stuff, and try and wind your way down here and then back down the straight towards the river. it was at this point where I thought I could still keep with the guy with the orange top. So I think along here he overtook the first lady, then stuck on the left and just tried to keep up with the guy with the orange. Basically followed him all the way down here, back to that tight bend at the end again. Still trying to overtake people. I think the young lad here had a good effort at the race. He was up near the front, but I think just couldn't quite keep it going towards the end. He was one of the local guys from, I think, Elvid Striders from Durham, which is a local running club. Again, watch out for the tight bends, look out for people, not that much room, and then we've got to try and wind our way along the river again, where it's getting really, really busy at this point. So at this point I know I'm on for a good time, a much better time than what I'd expected to get. So I'm not pushing it too hard. I'm thinking if I just stick with this guy, again it's really busy, let him try and find the space and I'll just follow him along this path. Again, happy with the pace, more than happy just to follow him and make sure we get this good time in and we don't slow down at the end. I think there was one point a bit further along here where I literally thought he was just going to run into a group of people, so I had to shout. I think started doing the shouting for him, asking people to move to the right, letting them know that we're coming through on the left. But yeah, it's getting really busy at the minute.
On your left.
I guess those people had forgot there was people coming past. Again, just watch out down here for the sand and then try and wind your way to the finish. So I'll leave that with you now. So I think the time came up on here was like 19:05, but it was actually 19:12. I'm not sure if it was just how the Garmin data had synced with the video or whether it was something to do with when I'd started the watch. I'm not quite sure, but the official time was 19:12. So faster than I did last July. Not quite a course PB, but I'm more than happy with that. I think the initial intention today was to come in at about 19:30, see if I could do that. We've got another 20 seconds, so I'm really happy with how things are progressing at the minute. I'm happy to keep on with the training. So I'll leave you with this to watch it right to the end.
Fast runners only, right way, everybody else. Well done.